Beautiful beings, bienvenido. I was just singing to you all. It's showing. I was thinking that, oh yeah, of course we went to give it to you. Okay, so we're interpreting tea, messages from the leaf, root, stem, blossom, all the parts of the plant, whatever you're putting in your tea. Little bit of tech difficulties, but I am getting the hang of it. I did think I was doing something else with you, so I am going to give you a tutorial, which is far easier, and I didn't have to chug my tea, so maybe my tummy will make some sounds. Okay, so I have this teacup, and I have been learning about tea divination, tea reading. Some people say like scrying, the act of interpreting something. My stomach. So, we are here. So I'm going to teach you what I've been learning. It's very pan spirituality meets new age cultural appropriation. So tread lightly, tell no one. No, I'm just kidding. But right, a personal in your house practice while you're coming closer with your culture and your religion to decipher what is happening. I have noticed people do it in a few ways. I personally drink tea unstrained, so I usually put all the tea in the cup, drink it all, and then interpret it. And I will say I don't quite see much. It did take maybe 6 moon cycles of doing it sporadically to start to like, oh, is that a whole person? I'm not sure if this is going to give you anything. But, right, I'm just looking in there and finding it. So hopefully I'll figure out a way to share this with you all. I have also noticed people dump this onto a plate and then read the plate. I've also noticed people dump it out, read the plate, and then read what's left in the cup. Options. So if your cup has a handle, usually this is oriented to self. Like this is the self part. And this is like what's furthest from you, the opposite side. And then you can name the halves if you want. For me personally, I'm doing a lot of work with my femininity and masculinity, and to balance that. So I do from my center point of the handle, the left is the feminine, the right is the masculine. I'm like, where am I going? Feminine, masculine. And you can make whichever side, whatever you're working on. It could be yes, no questions. It can be other things that are binary. So how I've been learning to read this is going to be a little quickie, 15 minutes max. What have I learned? The water, if there's a lot of water in it, I usually read the water as like my emotional status. But you can always make water whatever you want, kind of like the pendulum. You decide which area means what, and then you ask the thing. I don't ever ask anything in particular. And if you do ask something, you do it before you drink it. And then if you're interpreting both the cup and the plate, you say whatever you want to say and then dump it. So with the emotional water, if it's like cloudy, if it's got a lot of debris in it, are really the only two things that I do. And if it's like a lot of liquid or less liquid, because usually I attempt to drink as much of the liquid as I can. So I usually think there's a message in that. Ooh, there is a ring here, like in the cup. I know, I'm like, what was I thinking? Yes, have patience with the video, but maybe you saw that kind of chalky ring around. I usually read that as like some kind of landscape or people playing an egg. My interpretations too, kind of like dream interpretation or cloud interpretation. In the beginning, everything just seems cloudy, funny, but muddled, or let's say muddled. So with practice, you get more of like discerning in your senses of what is happening. And as you work with it, it's like, this is working, this isn't working, give me messages like this. Usually like sticks and twigs or needles, leaves, I think of as like bridges. But I think I made that up for myself. So if there's symbolism that is coming to you in yourself, go with that. I do, another orient is the bottom and the top of the cup. So for me, I do the top as soon, or like the present. And so the bottom, depending on the reading, I usually go with the reading, like what's it telling me, and I'll either do the bottom as past or future, and then kind of the span in between the present and the non-present. What else do I do in here? Shapes, symbols, doing your best to find something. Maybe I'm getting some Moorish being or angelic being, a winged being. Yeah, it's kind of a way I've been playing meet spirituality. The spirits wanted me to learn this. I've also been asking the spirits, like, oh, bring me cultural things. So a lot of things I'm telling you are just like my intuition, or when I was doing it, I noticed it brought me pleasure. And leaning into that, be like, spirit, I want to learn my own traditions. Like, let me have interest in that. Let me find pleasure in that. And just experimenting is really what I've been doing. I also do the masculine and feminine, with the masculine being like the provider giver and the feminine being the receiver. Chilling. And I do notice what is in my cup. Jeepers. If it's more on the masculine side and I need to be more active, or more on the feminine side and I need to be more inward and tranquil. So there's all sorts of ways to interpret in the cup and how you feel about that. Okay, so I'm like shaking it a little, and I'm going to pop it on there. And that would be a new message. And like I was saying, right, look at that water. It's pretty murky. It's got some debris in it. I'm over my computer, so I'm gonna calm my enthusiasm. I haven't done much with plate readings. They're a lot more versatile as far as like things are kind of like moving around. Maybe I need to like keep it stationary. But maybe even that's a message, right? Your emotions are really like all over and moving and very fluid. Even though it's murky, there's a lot of movement. And then right now the cup has no liquid. and is still difficult to see. But you kind of get some colors, some chunks, some placements. Seems like more wings and like a bouquet. So just starting to notice. I have noticed for myself, this is half of the plants that were in my cup. So I have like a very plant heavy beverage. And so I noticed the messages are more clear for me once I do a dump out. I can, like, the shapes come alive. Yes. So that's just something I noticed myself reading, like, oh, this comes more easily. And just leaning into what's easy, what's pleasurable, and not easy as like familiar comfort, but easy as like, I'm trying something new and it's like coming easy. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. And either way, I shared with you, and I'm working on sharing more things in video format. We're definitely going to be putting the transcript, so find those in the description. And we'll find you in the next one. Oh, what have I been saying? Thank you. Be brave. Be brave.